Where'd you learn the martial arts?
Big surprise. Huge surprise.
I'm starting to get in a bad mood, you know? Maybe it's like a mood swing, my hormones, I don't know. You know, maybe it's my need to impose my will.
Good evening. You are listening live to Kicking It. Tonight we're going to be doing Police Story starring Jackie Chan. I'm your host, Rob, and guesting with me tonight, as usual, is Dr. Venkman. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So, Police Story. Let me start off by saying, as we've talked about before on some of the other Kicking It's with Jackie Chan, not the biggest fan of the comedy style in martial arts, but I understand that it is a thing. So, with my background growing up, seeing Jackie Chan, like especially in Cannibal Run, was my first exposure, and then of course I saw Rumble in the Bronx and Drunken Master at some point. Police Story is one of the other ones by him that I've seen too. So Bianca Fights the Zombies. That is that's an Xtreme title. Would you agree? Welcome, Bianca. Aloha.
Dude, if that's a movie title or a TV series, I'd want to watch it.
I think I do, and it'd be great for what we're going to be doing after this on the Xtreme Movie Show starring at 8 o'clock, starring Eglantine from I Love Comics. Yeah, so Police Story. For me, Doctor, I got to tell you, I kind of liked Drunken Master because I say from the martial arts perspective, I really liked how they had all the different names and poses and styles, and it was very dynamic, and the contrast of all of them really caught my attention. And plus the incredible action sequences in the last one. But Police Story, what I remember is I remember two things. One, I remember it being actually a very solid film with a lot of good martial arts in it. But I also remember, and I guess this is a Hong Kong thing too, or an Asian thing. I'm not quite sure what the terminology would be. But his girlfriend's just kind of like that sidekick-ish kind of, or the female in it, she's just like goofy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, really? And that never works for me personally, so I have to kind of like put that in its own box and not let it distract me from the rest of the movie. But overall, I think Police Story is a fantastic Jackie Chan thing. I think that for a lot of people that haven't seen it, obviously I would say go see it. I mean, that's how strongly I feel about it. It's not quite as good as Drunken Master, at least not my favorite, but it's up there. It's very, very high. So for you, what was your background with this movie?
I was originally, when I first saw Jackie Chan, the first ones I saw were Rumble in the Bronx and Super Cop, the ones that came to America, the ones that were big hits in like 96, 97, 98. This was my first time actually watching this. So when I
watched
saw
it
this,
recently, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, no, this is my first time in my life watching this. I watched it recently, yeah. I've never watched before.
Gotcha, okay.
And classic Jackie Chan, from what I've heard from people said, like, and just watching trailers on this, it was pretty good. If anything, yeah, his girlfriend in this story is basically, she's one of those, she basically doesn't like the fact he's a cop. She's always worrying about him, and he's always busy. He doesn't have time for her, so she throws a little hissy fits and stuff and all.
She nags him, yeah.
She dangs him, yes.
He could be an astronaut making $10 million, but if he's not home enough, she's going to nag him. But yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. His girlfriend is actually played by, what was her name again in here? Maggie Chung.
Yes.
Who's by, dude, gorgeous.
Yes.
His girlfriend in this story is basically, yeah. So basically, this story, man, like, was he's a cop. There's a drug deal going on, or a mafia deal going on, and their job was to infiltrate this little small town village. It's built on the side of this little hall, like a hill.
Yep.
It's a little village, and their job there was to go in there, sneak in, and then arrest the guy because they want this guy, the boss. He's not really that tough. He has lackeys do everything for him. He's more the business guy with the briefcase, the money,
Right. So he's got a goon squad.
Yeah, everything basically goes wrong because well, they're all dressed in plain clothes and trying to blend in. Is somebody sees one of the other guys hiding behind his food stand with the binoculars looking there, so then they basically tips him off. So then they have to go run in and basically go into this little village, and they're trying to evacuate the people out, there's families living here. It's like the little tin shacks you see like in Guatemala, they're all
A
little
shanty
group
town.
shanty town basically, yes. And this is 1985 when this movie came out. So man, they still had modern technologies and all stuff, but this had one of like the best like chase scenes in it. Just dude, like Jackie Chan like chased the bad guy and his they drove their cars through this little shanty town from the hill all the way down. And they both crashed their cars at the end. And so Jackie Chan had to chase after these guys. These guys got onto a double decker bus. So then he tried to get onto the bus, but he couldn't get on at first. So then he had to basically run over this hill while they're going. And then so basically this double decker race is going around the hill out of sight. He basically ran, jumped on to it, and with basically he had a what did he stole his lady's umbrella, used the handle, pull himself up. In the meantime, he's jumping through the windows. They're shooting their guns at him, trying to shoot him.
Hmm.
He basically manages to jump off and then run around, and then he actually cut the bus off. But the problem is that he didn't see the bus, or the bus went on his line of fire, on his, so and which will come back to bite him in the butt when they're doing the trial. But how he stops the bus, he jumps in this person's car, commandeers it, and he parks it away, and then he pulls out his gun, and then he basically like is ready to shoot. So what happens is the bus driver who's running the bus, who's been, he's like, oh crap, he got the gun. He quick stops on his on a dime, and these two bad guys fly through the window of the bus.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. So and then he goes in there, and the guy's like, oh, the fat little Asian guy, he's like, oh, I'll give you money. You want anything you want? Just let me go. He's like, nope. He handcuffs him, brings him in. So they're thinking, well, we don't have really much information on this guy. We don't have enough to get him, arrest him really much. So Jackie Chan's basically taken to this woman that this guy's been seen with, to be her make her. They're trying to flip her, make her a witness. So, but the cops do, because they don't have anything. They bring her into this little waiting room, and the lawyers outside like they'll start like, no, you can't be in there. We need to talk to her privately. And she's like, whatever. She sends the lawyer out because whatever, because she's an idiot. This is Bridget Lynn, who's also beautiful in this one. There's a lot of beautiful Asian in this movie.
It is a
So I mean,
picturesque movie. I will say that.
I know it's like wow. So yeah, so basically they make the lawyer think that they don't talk to her out. They just sit there for 5-10 minutes, just being quiet, whatever doing what they want, and then they let her out. And she's like, what did they say to you? And she's like, they didn't talk to you at all. It's like, oh no, you bought, so he thinks that she flipped on him, tells the boss who's in the jail. They send their goons after her. And meanwhile, Jackie Chan was in there because first she wouldn't let him in. So she's like, you gotta wait outside. And, like, I don't trust you. So he's hiding outside and everything. He's climbing up. Jackie Chan didn't know that the goons are coming. So anything, he's already like, just scare this woman. He had another buddy who's a cop dressed up as a mugger break into her thing while she's there, and she kept hitting this poor guy. This guy got beat up by the girl several times. This guy's a goon.
They're all
so
goons.
so so Jackie Chan comes in like, oh, you okay? Like, oh, and she's like, good. So and while Jackie, they're like, he's like, dude, like, hold on, we'll just make it look real, right? And then she comes out and she knocks the guy out, and it's like, oh, so basically he has to like hold on to the guy and pretend that he's still, oh, he's still strangle me, keep the gag going. He's like, dude, come on, you can't pass on me. And he's like, okay, whatever. He says, wait, and she hits him again over the head. So that's the point. Yeah, they leave. They get out, and then they're surrounded by the goons who are trying to kill her. And then all of a sudden she believes that. He's like, well, it works out to my advantage, Uh, but so they go back to his place, and well, he didn't forget it was his birthday. They don't, So when he goes in there, all of a sudden he's walking. This girl's in her negligee as it is when the time this whole happened. So they walk into Jackie Chan's apartment. His girlfriend's in there with all his friends, and surprise, they open the lights. All of a sudden, she sees him walking in with a girl in a negligee, and his girlfriend she flips out, and she basically pushes a cake in his face. He's like, how dare she thinks he's cheating on her. So then after all this stuff, he finally goes take a shower and all stuff, and he comes back in and he goes out the door. His friend, it's like happy birthday, and shoves a cake in his face. So I don't know if that's like a like a cultural thing or just maybe a
It's just, I
personal
think, a
gig.
laugh right giggle sort of thing for
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, you know?
So I thought that was pretty funny that they, that he happened to him twice in this movie. So
Well,
yeah,
he does have a lot of lighthearted stuff in his movies. I gotta tell you,
yeah,
the
yeah,
action in here
yeah,
is
yeah.
fantastic.
You were right. His stuff is kind of like a ballet, but it's done so well. It's fluent.
Yeah, and I do like that. Like, this is the kind of movie where they took, I think, probably a couple stunts or locations, or just depending on their budget or the writing part to it. Said, hey, let's build the movie around these things here, rather than your act A, B, C, your intro 1, 2, 3. So, and the thing too, also to keep in mind is that when people watch a lot of Asian movies, especially contemporary ones, yeah, there are going to be some big ones, and that's for the Asian market. So, it's not selling an American movie, so it's not necessarily going to have that structure. This could be a huge hit, and it was overseas, and then not even
Oh,
be known over here in the States at all. So, it is a really fun movie to watch. Yeah, it sounds like an 80s movie too with the score. There's a lot of synth in it. I noticed. I was like, okay, this is a little different. It's not 100% Asian sounding, but so it's kind of dated in that way, but not in a bad way. I mean, overall,
yeah.
it's actually one of his better films that I've seen. I was a little surprised. It'd been a while since I had seen it, but I was like, okay, this is the Jackie Chan I prefer, rather than the sanitized Hollywood version that we got like in the 90s, early
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah. Well, he also in his movies, he was like in his 20s. By the time we got in the 90s, he was in his 30s,
Yeah, yeah,
close to 40.
yeah.
So like, he started out in the 60s, man. He was when he was his teens and all, late teens. So, but yeah. So after all this up and all, the girl she basically finds out that there's somehow the girl he's supposed to protect. She finds out that the whole thing was a like she recognizes one of the cops. That's what she has, because she sees a photo of him with all the officers on his part wall, and she recognizes the guy was a goon when he took the mask off.
Yep.
So then she figures it out. So based on what she does, she takes the tape recorder that she found in his jacket. When he gave her the jacket, she was cold, and she records it. She puts recording on it, because before on the way over, he had to record a statement exactly everything she knew about this guy, the gangster guy they wanted to get information on. Well, she takes the tape recorder out when he doesn't know this, and she starts pretending like, like, oh, it's like, and it's like, I'm tired, or like, ouch, I hurt. And it's like, he's like, he's, well, the whole thing is that she basically like knocks the glass out of his hand, gives him water, and it's like, oh no, I'm all wet now. So basically makes it sound like they're having sex, the way she, everything
Right.
she says.
Right.
So at the trial, like they basically the evidence was like, well, you didn't like I said, to come back to the double like the bus. Well, you didn't see the client, no, you lost, you didn't have the 100% eyes on the bus all the entire time, Well, he's like, well, the guy's like, well, we all know like every five, there's five buses going through that one bridge every minute. And so I was like, well, he's like, well, guess what? I got a tape right here. No confession. He puts it on. First, it's like blaring rock, like heavy like rock music, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean
He's like,
that's so 80s though. I mean that's put in there, I think, because it's the 80s, you know.
I know. He's like, oh, sorry, old tape. And then all it goes, all of a sudden it's like you hear like what she recorded for him, when she sat on the cactus, and then then the whole it's like, oh, wet, and they basically sound like his girlfriend, who he just convinced her not to dump him before she left before the trial. She's in the back and she's smiling and this tape goes on, and she starts crying, she gets and she runs away, and so he's like, he's like, so basically what happens is that after all this, the guy gets let go, but then the guy who was originally supposed to keep the guy from escaping, because that's why that's all they were the get past the barricade. That
Yep.
was the cop.
Hmm.
He is actually basically blackmailed by the gangsters to kill Jackie Chan because they don't like him. He's upset that I embarrassed him, cost them money and all that stuff. I mean, because after there's a record arrest. Jackie Chan was on everything. Like his character, his name's Kevin. He was like the promotion video, doing all the different things. The merciful cop. safety first, helping old people cross the street. So this guy kept seeing commercials, and he got so basically he's like, we're getting revenge on this guy. This guy, we want him gone. So he gets the cop that try and kill him. The guy goes over. He's like, hey, I got the guy here, like the girl, because he's looking for the girl because the girl's missing. She's hiding out somewhere. He's like, he calls him up. He's like, yeah, I got her over here. And Jackie Chan goes over there, and the guy pulls a gun on him. Jackie Chan manages to escape. Because what it was, they were actually going to kill the girl too, because they did find the girl, because Jackie Chan, so they kill the cop with Jackie Chan's gun. He pushes the girl off the bill, like this tall building rooftop. So he's like, I don't want to jump, I don't jump. He's like, whatever, pushes her, so she goes into the pool down below. Yeah, and then he jumps off too, and then she goes hides out somewhere, and he basically goes back, and they're like, well, you killed the cop, and all the goes to the police station. They're like, we're gonna arrest you, and like, so he basically like pretends to go crazy, grabs a gun, takes the police chief, who basically they don't like because he's a stickler by the books. His buddy, who's like the second in command sergeant to the captain, he's called him Uncle. I thought that's cool that they'll call him Uncle. I'm not sure why there is, because he's older and they're like family.
Well, as far as like, the plot and all that stuff, some people might be like, yeah, I've seen these things before, or if they've seen enough like uh, police procedurals, whether they're American or overseas, foreign, or whatever. I think they're going to see a lot of stuff that they're familiar with it. But let me ask you this, because this is what I'm always curious about. I always joke about you being a millennial, and a lot of these you're seeing for the first time, or you're relatively new to it. Some you're not, but I mean that's the fun thing here on the Extreme Movie Show is hearing, like, what I always joke about is the millennial perspective many years, and those of our listeners. What what was you think the best thing about this movie overall? Like, if you had to tell all the people that are listening to this, why they should see this film, what would you say?
I would say, well, there's two big stunts in here. He does, like I said,
Yes.
the police chase down the hill,
Yes.
going through the shanty town, and the other one was the most dangerous stunt he ever did. They're at the mall, they're fighting everything. He basically had to jump down from there's a lot of glass pans, and it's interesting where he basically slides on a pole covered with dangling lights. So as he slides down, they're popping. There's like crazy sparking everywhere, sparks flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they filmed this from 3 different angles. And how they played it back 3 different times. The first time he went down, then they played 2 more times, and he basically he lands
burned
through
himself
the glass.
like to a crisp with it. Yeah.
Yeah, he burned. Yeah, he burned his hand. When he was doing this.
But see, yeah, and I agree with you, because to me that scene sticks out for me, because I've said before about, okay, you have your cutesy stuff and this and there, but to me, what I get dialed in on Jackie Chan when he'll do stuff like this, you can talk about the actual fight and whether it's real, and we know it's staged, but the stunt work and the fact that it's a practical effect and he's doing it, that just, if it was CGI or like quick cutting of this, that I just couldn't watch it, and I would think it's a joke. But yeah, something like that, I'm watching, I'm going, yeah, that's badass.
That was the ending thing. When he goes at the guy, But before that, he was throwing bad guys. They're in the mall, so there's he threw a guy into a glass plane, another guy into another, where they keep all the jewelry and stuff upstairs, the clothes and stuff. He was throwing people there.
Yeah, a lot of glass breaking in this movie.
That, and then, well, I don't know if that was really used before back in any. I don't remember any earlier movies on that where people go through glass planes.
It was always the car chase or the foot chase. It was always the going through the street in their alley where you had your 2 people with a giant pane of glass walking across, and somebody would run through it, or a car. I mean, it was always kind of lame. And then this movie, I think, came out actually before what we've talked about earlier on our Steven Seagal versions that we talked about previously, where he took the Jamaican drug guy and he just started bashing his head through every single window in the jewelry center. I thought that was cool, but this was before all that.
This dude, he won like the 1986 Hong Kong Film Awards. He won like the best film of that year.
Yeah, this is a big film.
It's huge success in East Asia.
Yes.
Dude, this movie is so popular that they brought it back in February this year, February 1st. They had a 4K restoration of the film, and they had a limited theoretical release in North America.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I would have known that. I would have went and watched it in the theaters if they had it by me. Because they had this one, and then they played Police Story 2, the sequel to this, back to back.
Well, for me, it's definitely worth watching. I would say see it first before the sequels. I mean, as far as finishing up, my final thoughts would be go see this movie. I know I like Drunken Master, but I mean, if I had to tell you to pick one or the other, it's such a toss up. You really can't go wrong between this or the other one. And for me,
Drunken Master. I just want to say, Drunken Master. I agree with you. They're two different things. Drunken
yeah,
Master was comedy,
yeah, this is more
and it,
serious.
and it was yeah, it was more comedy. He was more like a sissy a little bit compared to like where he's more serious. This one he's like, in this one he's more serious. He's like, I'm a cop. He's like, so shut up. You're stupid. You're always control. He's like, because his girlfriend. He's like, you always complain like a child. God. He's like, you're so frustrating. It's like, just go away.
Yeah, yeah, but
And
for
he actually, dude, he used his own voice in this one too. A
yeah,
lot of the early ones, he did not. They had voice work over.
well, it's definitely a big. Well, actually, Drunken Master is this way too. They're both very big movies as far as the way they feel. Look, they look like a big budget movie. They don't look like you know, a decent movie that's a knockoff or something small or small budget. This definitely feels like a good movie, so it's definitely worth seeing. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see over the years, especially with the paid TV services coming out, how the martial arts thing settles down because typically those are much cheaper than like say some popular TV shows and everything for people to watch. So occasionally you can hop on Netflix or the other streamers and get a whole chunk of these movies and watch them and just bang them out. So obviously, this is a must see. It's definitely an extreme movie. We don't even have to worry about asking if it passes the Meg
No,
test
no.
because it's a solid yes. But yeah, great movie,
Yeah.
definitely worth seeing. And I'll hand it
'Cause
to you for any final thoughts.
I was gonna say this when this is the first time I actually watched the first movie because when I really realized that Super Cop, which came out in 1992,
Hmm.
and First Strike, those are the third and the fourth films. I never knew there was two before that.
Yeah,
Because I think I've seen this before, this character. So, dude, they got a box set. If you people want a box set, all six movies, man.
yeah.
Uh, it's crazy. Yeah, like I said, they made over 250,000 like this or more at this for number one. But yeah, you got Bill Tung as Uncle Bill Wong, uh, or Inspector Chow. Great guy. He's in some of his movies. I think he was also in the other one. It was he in Project A? I can't remember. He's also
X.
in some other movies.
I think it's Project X. I think. Yeah,
Project,
yeah. Because this is the
Project
point where he's getting his group, and you're going to see a lot of the similar faces, at least action wise and everything too. So yeah, he's found a successful formula. It works. It's
oh
something that
yeah.
from this point on, if you're going in a linear order for
Well,
Jackie Chan films.
do you know that Bill Tung is from? He's from Rumble in the Bronx.
Yep. Yep.
That's where you first see him. If you've never watched any of these before, he's also in Drunken Master too.
Yeah, and a lot of people from the states that got started with that, or maybe might have remembered Cannonball Run just briefly. There was not really any other people in there. It was really Rumble in the Bronx stateside. But yeah, so obviously we have a lot of people from Indonesia that are Asian that listen to the Extreme Movie Show in general. A good chunk of our audience comes from there because we've covered not just Jackie Chan but other martial arts movies. Amy Johnston, a flick or two of hers. A lot of the younger, newer generation of martial arts stars as opposed to the classic ones like Chuck Norris and others that we've covered too. So, and again, everybody listening, this is a show that we like to do for action movies. We've been covering a lot of martial arts because it's one of our favorite ones, but we definitely cover a lot. So, if you've got any comments, make sure that you leave them.
Oh,
It's obviously
well,
awesome talking about these kinds of things. You had a final thought,
I just
Doctor?
I just want to quickly elaborate on that scene where he went down the pole, the lights. You
Yes.
said he got second degree burns on his hands, well as a back injury and dislocation of his pelvis when he landed.
He's not a big guy. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. And you
Yeah,
see it
and
when you
this
watch it.
this was this one and this also was his first film where at the credits they did they threw the gag reel.
Yeah, at the end of the movie
First,
when
yeah,
it's rolling.
yes,
Yeah, this is the marker for it. This is when
yep,
Jackie Chan becomes Jackie Chan. His movies are Jackie Chan movies. That's how I would describe it.
yeah, and he also used a metal umbrella because the wood one kept sliding when he tried to hang onto the bus.
I have a feeling we'll be talking more about Jackie Chan and some others too as we go forward.
so so man, yeah, wow. I just can't believe it. And it made over $3 million in Hong Kong. Or
And
no, no,
that's
no,
an '80s.
or maybe with equivalent for 26 million dollars over there in Hong Kong, and then 3 million here in the United States.
And
Just
that's
more.
his '80s
This
dollars
is
too. So the exchange rates and
y-
whatnot. It was is a big hit. Big hit.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
So,
Well, Doctor, thanks for joining us as always. I'm sure we'll be talking about this more for everybody listening. Stay extreme.
yep, stay extreme.
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 Thank you, for Bianca. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We have a couple different channels, Bianca: science fiction, fantasy, horror. We've just did some. Doctor's on a lot of them. Eglantine from I Love Comics is also on some. Sometimes it's the three of us. So interested in any of those, or if you have a suggestion or one you'd like us to cover, leave a comment, because we definitely take a look at those. We're a new channel. We're growing a lot, so the best thing you can do besides enjoying it is share the word. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.